There was an interesting point that came up during conversations I was having with someone in the comments on one of the videos. And this was around the different styles of decision-making. The masculine decision-making, which is more cerebral or intellectual, and the feminine decision-making, which is more visceral or more intuitive. And we wanted to take the time to do another video that goes deeper into that notion that we had around women usually come across and be said that they're emotional thinkers. And we're looking to challenge that to say that there's something more deeper and nuanced in how they think and make decisions, and be able to give something that men can relate to.
I actually love that, because it is in the same way that masculine and feminine energy exists on a spectrum, not a hierarchy. The conversation that we're going to bring forward today puts it on a spectrum as well, so that it is equal but different decision making. So I'm really excited to dive into this. If you are new, welcome. I'm going to put the links to the video that he's mentioning about women being more emotionally driven. We did a whole video on that as well. I'll put the links for that in the description. If you're new, welcome. My name's Courtney. This is Andrew, my real life partner, and the co-creator of the Rebrand. We are facilitating that together and developing a deeper way of embodying the masculine feminine principles. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so the Rebrand is a course, and it's around recalibrating of the nervous system. Because we found that a lot of the issues that men and women have with creating the relationships and the partnerships that they're after is being able to have a nervous system that either doesn't misfire or that they're not misinterpreting signals that it's actually coming through and sharing. So there's a deep dive in the Rebrand around recalibrating the nervous system. Now, here's a distinction to help with and to continue that type of conversation.
Love that. Yes, it goes beyond masculine, feminine. It is kind of a 360 integration portal.
Yes.
Kind of a fitting room effect.
So let's dig into it.
Let's go for it.
Cool. So the distinction I was making was around this element of visceral decision-making versus cerebral decision-making. And because visceral is more of a feminine-based way of doing it, now, we both have, men and women have feminine sides of things. So intuition, gut feeling, this is something that even men can understand. For women, though, it is something that really sits within their body and they have to be okay with. There are times they can override it, like when they're suppressing that those signals, and in which case they have their own level of intensity and high frequency that's needed to be able to feel that, which shows up as being emotional. And this is where the women are emotional thinkers probably comes from. But the deeper truth is that there is a bodied experience that they have to be okay with. And this is where the notion of safety comes into play, especially emotional safety, which is actually more a visceral safety, is probably a way to put it. And for those that don't know, visceral just means the internal feelings that are happening. So from a medical term, it's to do with your internal organs. We're just using it as a analogy for the internal feelings that you're feeling, which is like intuition, gut feeling, and those pieces. The masculine style of decision making, which again men and women have, is the cerebral, the intellectual. It is the facts, it is the goal orientation, it is the different things that we're considering and focusing on, and it is high focus that brings it about. So this is a masculine style. And where the comment and the conversation was heading along the lines of is being careful not to judge a woman who is having a level of uncertainty when dating or showing up as pulling back, because what she's got going on is two elements for her. She's having this who she sees you as, which could be this amazing person, yet there's something viscerally off for her. So there's some sort of feeling that something's not quite right. Now, again, we got to see the difference between a immature versus an integrated or mature woman. And an immature one might just turn around and go, no, but you, and I'm out. Or is looking for emotional trigger to keep her active and her attention there. Whereas a lot of the men that are come to this channel, and the women that they're engaging with are more likely the intelligent and more mature and integrated type of woman who recognizes that I'm seeing something about him, yet I'm feeling something off. It might be me. So there's an element of going, I have to find the space to be able to work out, is this me? Or is there something legitimately here? And this is where that hesitation may come in. Now, how we're triggering this as men is if we haven't done the deeper nervous system recalibration work and what's also known as somatics as well, or have clearer understanding of certain experiences women have and how we may be unconsciously triggering those, is because we haven't done potentially done that deeper work. Now, do you want to add something before I give the analogy?
No, actually, I think this analogy is going to really hit home for men.
Okay. So the analogy I used was, imagine you're about to jump into a car with someone you just met and they're driving. And you're like, cool, they're a really cool person. We're going to go somewhere together. And as they're driving, they're slightly agitated and it's almost like anxious. And you're looking around and you're like, there's nothing wrong on the road. And you may chat to them about it and they may have one or two responses. One of, it's not you, it's fine, don't worry about it. Or nothing's wrong. And in which case the nothing's wrong one actually presupposes and implies that what you're feeling is your problem. And here they are still having a baseline of agitated as they're driving. Now, the next time they offer to drive, you're going to hesitate about getting in that car. You're like, I know this is a good person, but I don't have a good experience in the car with them. Or you may offer to drive. This is what women are doing. This is the closest thing to explain their experience as they're engaging with men that have this baseline of almost redlining. And the problem is they don't notice that that's the case for them. So there's this deeper stuff that's going on for them that they've learned how to manage.
Men don't notice.
Yeah, men don't notice.
Men don't notice. Women will pick up on it.
Yeah. And the reason they pick up on it is because of the empathetic nature of this visceral system, that they're feeling something that just isn't in alignment with the environment, the context, the what's going on. So that's what's having them hesitate. Not that you're bad, you're wrong, there's something wrong with you, but there's something that they're picking up. And a lot of, especially intelligent and mature women, can recognize that they themselves may be triggered. So then they're pulling back to not put that in your space, while also recognizing they may actually be picking up on something. So they're in a catch-22 situation. Can you speak more to that as a lived experience?
Yeah, I would almost say that because there is an element in the feminine maturation process where she will start to step out of the it's your fault, your problem, and start owning a lot of the stuff. And the next phase is often that recalibration of what is actually mine and what is actually just the environment or the other person. And she's going to be having to slow down and kind of tease that apart because her instincts will be, something's off. I need to look and see what part of this is mine so that I can at least have a conversation about it that isn't coming from a place of blame or projection. I need to come from ownership and feeling solid within myself. So I'm going to be taking inventory of what's happening over here and inadvertently maybe taking on more of the agitation that you're bringing to the situation than I may realize. But she'll definitely be picking up on the fact that something is a little bit uneasy. It doesn't feel like she just gets to be passenger princess and just ride along and enjoy the sun and enjoy the process, which is what she would enjoy doing. But it will be a sense of, do I want to continue leaning into this? How much of my own masculine energy do I need to keep online just to keep me safe, in the sense that I can stay alert and aware of what's happening and potentially remove myself. Not necessarily that you're a perpetrator or someone that she feels instinctively threatened by. It's like a low grade of, I just need to stay aware because I don't know. I need to think on my feet, not necessarily that that there's an immediate threat, but just that she can't completely relax in your presence because there is this like subtle ping of anxiety that she's aware of and trying to figure out who it belongs to. That help.
It does. And to add to what Courtney's saying in, let's say, my language, because we're finding that some people can hear it in Courtney's language, others can hear it in mine, is that while she's looking at this and we're using that driver analogy, she wants to go on the drive with you. She wants to be able to navigate, to help organize snacks, and to have a good, fun time with you. And while there's this difference between what she sees, so the cerebral sides of things, versus what she's feeling, it's going to cause this differentiation within her that has her not be in the moment. So therefore she's not being present, and she's not being present in your presence. And again, it could be hers, it could be yours, it could be something else. So here she is going around in the same circles that you're going around in, and having to have a very different reaction to it in order to set herself with it. Now, there's also a lot of other things to really consider when it comes down to it. Things like how women bringing this type of stuff up triggers men if they haven't done the deeper work for themselves. And if she hasn't got enough rapport or trust that you'll be able to hear her, then she may not be able to talk to you about it, and eventually may end up going, I have to pull away from this. So again, depending on how much work she's done, she may just say thanks but no thanks, and others may end up just ghosting you because they just don't know how to say it. And you can turn around and blame them for that, or you can come with eyes of curiosity and understanding of going, what is she having to go through in order just to be able to show up to have a relationship and a partnership too? So what we can do as men is come through and do more of our own deeper work so that we're okay when other people are not okay. Because the more that we can be okay when somebody else isn't okay, the more she will feel safe in our presence, and the more she will feel safer to share what's going on for us. So therefore we have more opportunities in order to create these types of spaces to explore possibilities of partnership. So a lot of what we share is different ways of looking at things so that we're not coming as relationship as a goal. Because what ends up happening when we have relationship as a goal is that we put so much emphasis on her picking us. So now and this is, I think, something we've spoken about in another video, it may have been the last one, but we end up becoming a damsel in distress, and we're actually not okay with who we are, and we are unconsciously putting forward that we want to be rescued from our life. Now, when we're coming from the element of we want partnership and someone to share our life with, yes, we want a relationship. That's a milestone. It's not necessarily the goal, but it's a milestone in what we're up for. By looking at it going, well, what type of life do I have, and do I actually enjoy it myself? From that place, being able to work through the things that I need to work through in order to have the type of life that I'm after, that I'm willing to share it with someone, and who is able to come in, and therefore we have worthy ideals and ideal shared experiences that we're after, and that we work together on. Now, a lot of the men that also come to these videos have a lot of depth to them. Unfortunately, that depth has been misperceived in society, and therefore you're having similar struggles to what women are actually experiencing, but just from a very different angle. And this is why the nervous system recalibration is what's necessary to start being okay with the fact that you're deep, and that you're probably deeper than a lot of people. And the more that you can actually come back into your, to realign and recalibrate with your nervous system so that you have a sense of being okay within any situation, what it does is gives you more opportunity, because what you're looking for is probably not to go straight for an empowered woman, because an empowered woman is looking for an empowered man, one that has done real deep work. What you're probably looking for is someone to be able to do this type of work with. So what you're after is being able to do enough work that you're creating enough safety within yourself that you don't feel like you need to be rescued from your own life unconsciously. But then also having enough space in your nervous system in order to allow her to feel safe in it. So what we're talking about is being able to explore your own feminine decision making, your own visceral experiences, and seeing what's there. Because if we spend too much time in the masculine sides of things and trying to put forwards how we're seeing it from our angle and our direction, we're not actually seeing it from multiple points and what could actually be going on for her, which is a completely different, it's not just a different perspective, it's a whole different lived and felt experience.
I love that. There's a couple things that are standing out to me there. First of all, that when you can step into someone else's shoes, it automatically gives you the empathy that you need to engage at a deeper level. I'm going to say disarm in the fact that you will find more natural and organic connections, and the ability to integrate the feminine, your feminine energy, your feminine decision making, that gut instinct, intuitive impulse is actually what sharpens your ability to make masculine decisions too. If you've ever met one of those men who has the ability to just like, a lot of men come to my work and they say, like, I just want to trust myself more. I have a hard time with decisions. I have a lot of self-doubt. I, waffle back and forth. And what they're looking for is that ability to ground themselves and trust their own gut. And the reason that that's difficult is because we actually have to integrate both. And women have to do this too. This is the work I was doing with female clients as well, is to integrate that feminine decision-making and the masculine decision-making. Usually we lean one way or the other because of how we have been raised, the experiences we've had, and it is going to be a whole and complete decision-making process. That integrated person is going to be able to not only have that gut instinct and be like, hey, something's a little bit off here, or this is a yes, let's go for it, even when the situation, you may not have enough information, you're willing to take a step into uncertainty. And that is actually going to be that like edginess, the confidence, the willingness to take up space and lead that a lot of women are looking for. That is how you get that, is by integrating both the masculine and feminine decision-making. So I'm glad that you bring that up. That visceral decision-making is equally important for a man as the cerebral, intellectual, information-gathering system. They're two different systems.
And I want to point out also that you talk a lot about how the so-called nice guy, or what we call the bleeding heart, is so much further along and almost at the point of being able to really create so many options for themselves, is because that type of man has depth. And the issue that type of man has is not because they don't have the capacity to do it, but they've been taught out of using that capacity. So when they've gone into that depth before, it has somewhere along their lines challenged, like as a child, challenged some sort of adult, which would have been an authority figure. And therefore they've now associated that sensation with not okay. So therefore, as those sensations now start to come up, because when they're wanting something in life and they're setting their intentions for that, those parts of their being and their senses start to show up to give them the information that they need. But now they've been taught to misinterpret those signals. So this is again coming back to recalibration of the nervous system, that it's usually giving you the signals that you need and you're potentially misinterpreting them, or sometimes they are actually misfiring. But then what happens is you can get into the cycle of misfire, misinterpret, and off you go. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching these videos that can relate to that spiral. So being able to learn how to be okay within those depths, which is tapping into that visceral processing and visceral decision making, will allow you the ability to hold the space in your nervous system for the type of partnership you're after.
One other thing that comes to mind for me with this that I always explain to men is that the more that you are okay with and not actively resisting or triggered by your the feminine energy qualities, the visceral decision making, emotional processing, being able to connect, the more that those elements are triggering for you or that you resist them, the more you're inadvertently just pushing women away. The more you are able to own those things within yourself, because we're all whole humans, we all have that masculine feminine component as well, the more that you can own it and be masterful in it, be willing to be seen in your depths and the skill set that you have, the capacity that you have, the more that you're able to stay in that space, the more naturally attractive you become to other healthy integrated people, because they're looking for their counterparts in that too.
Let's actually delve into that one a little bit deeper too, because I think that's an interesting point. When women talk about presence, what they're talking about is how they feel in your presence. That's what it really comes down to. I think we already did a video on this as well.
Yeah.
But if your nervous system's off and her senses are being empathetic and picking up on that, and these are subtle empathetic pieces, then in your presence, she's feeling agitated. So therefore, she's got a moment of being, I don't know how to be with you, I don't know how to be around you. When you've done that deeper work and you've got a sense of okayness, especially one that's more than she's got for herself, all of a sudden she's in your presence, she's like, oh, I feel okay. She associates that with you because that's where it came from. So now she's opening up to different ideas and possibilities. And when you have a woman that has done more of this type of work, she's like, ooh, here's someone that I'm willing to have a conversation with and is willing to test how far and how deep and how safe those waters are. And in the process, you get to explore this type of stuff even further. So by doing this work, you are creating more opportunities that you didn't even know was possible. You're able to now have access to different parts of your whole system and being that, again, you didn't even know was possible. So I just really love your point around this type of work isn't necessarily linear. It is deep, hard work, but it has fascinating exponential effects, because the more that you do this deeper work for yourself, the more opportunities you start to create in life for connection, conversation, the things that you're looking for, that partnership will eventually turn out to become inevitable. Because then you're going to have women that are liking what you're offering and what you're doing and want to be involved in it in some way.
Yeah, and then it is about vetting for deeper compatibility. Yeah.
So you can either be the man that sits there and points at all the women and saying, but they're not doing the work. Or you can be the man that just does the work and is able to get the benefits of it in every part of your life regardless, which just benefits you even more. Because if you're listening to our videos, you're more likely the men that want to do the shared experience and partnership sides of things. So by you doing the deeper nervous system recalibration, you're getting a better life regardless.
I kind of want to put you on the spot a little bit. Will you talk about this before, outside of romantic partnership? How did doing this type of work, what did you notice shifted for you? I'm kind of thinking I don't want to...
Well, you're talking about business.
I'm thinking in work and friendships, family.
Yep.
What opportunities presented?
Okay. I went from having a job, feeling like I didn't belong, and I'm talking about didn't belong on the planet. I would have to consistently put aside conversations in my mind, in my head around, should I even really be here? And having those deeper realms of what you could call depression. I talk about it at the moment as if it's not a big deal. It was. It was something that I was constantly having to deal with and felt like I didn't even fit in my own family. And that when I'm trying to engage with people, that things just didn't make sense. I would get every so often blips of connection and depth and the things that I'm after, and then the vast majority of times I'm getting nothing at all. And I've got a job that I'm either good at, don't necessarily enjoy, as in it doesn't bring me fulfillment. It's something that I'm good at and I may like, but it wasn't bringing me fulfillment. And I'm constantly just jumping between jobs, not as in changing jobs every month or so, but rather every couple of years I would then grow into a different job, and then I'm back to the same type of thing. So I'm a software engineer over here. Now I'm over a couple of years later, I'm changing because of environmental changes like the global economical crisis that happened. So now I'm getting a job over there. And there was just this constant rat race type of thing going on for me. As soon as I started to get into the deeper sides of recalibrating my nervous system, so somatic work, distinctions, deeper elements of it, it gave me something different to engage with. I saw something that I couldn't unsee, and then I had to do something about it. And some of the things I started to see within Korea was recognizing how much value I actually brought to the table, because I didn't actually realize how much value I was bringing. And then from there, allowed me to have different negotiations. I could then look for, well, which type of employer did I want to work for? Did I actually want to start my own business? Who did I want? What type of clients did I want? And coming from those realms allowed me to have different conversations. And again, allowed me to negotiate based on my actual value that I brought to the table. So then I can look at, well, what do you want? And what do I want? And how do we find the middle ground where we both get what we want? Which is the art of negotiation.
Oh, I love that.
And I wouldn't have been able to have those negotiations if I didn't have the space in my nervous system to sit with the tension that comes up with that. Because here's the piece. Those agitations we have is tension, different types of tension. This is where social labor and emotional labor comes in, because it's social tension and emotional tension. And the more that I had space in my nervous system to sit with the different sensations and feelings, which emotions for me, I've now got a distinction that an emotion shows up when I have a distortion in my perception. Because when I'm in flow state, when I'm in full calm and everything's landed, there's no emotion. There's a feeling, there's insights, there's fulfillment, there's these deeper pieces, but there's no emotion. So if an emotion is showing up, then it's likely that there's a distortion that's somewhere within either my nervous system, or that the space that I'm holding, someone else has a distortion that my whole nervous system is being empathetic to them, and therefore I'm picking up on that. So being able to recognize that emotions are the equivalent of intensity within the visceral system, and visceral sensation sides of things, in comparison to the intensity that comes around from the cerebral ones, where we're like, oh, suddenly someone I connect with, now I'm just going to open up everything and give them it all. And to them, it's like a blinding light. I'm like, holy crap, where'd that come from? And overwhelming both systems for them.
I love that you went
Go
there.
for it.
I want to take that into a whole other conversation.
That's probably another video.
Yeah, that's another video. Yeah, for sure.
But to summarize and come back to it. So by doing the nervous system recalibration, it means that I'm actually okay in any moment, and I have the capacity for depth. And then I can look at, well, what depth do I like to operate at a regular basis? And how do I start putting things in my life that I can have that more often? I then don't have to have it from a single relationship. And in this instance, the partner that I want, I don't have to have it from there. I may want it from there, and therefore I want to build out enough of that so that I'm getting my needs met and I'm coming as a whole and complete person instead of someone who is starving for depth.
As you're talking, I'm just like listening, and there's thoughts coming in. I have to sit with that for a second. Well, what you were saying reminds me of, this is healthy detachment. When people are talking about detachment and what that actually means, I think there's a misconception, especially in the dating coaching space. A lot of like pickup artist concepts are based on healthy detachment. When they're done, the reason that they work is because they mimic healthy detachment.
Yeah, so they're an unhealthy version of healthy attachment.
Detachment. Yeah, thank you. They aren't necessarily an effective strategy, and they can't be overlaid on top of dysregulation, or they will be unhealthy forms of attachment that then just become manipulative.
So let me see if, like, I heard what you said and I heard what you meant. So let me just see if I can put it into other words.
Okay.
So things like pickup artistry or surface level dating concepts are based on what looks like healthy attachment. So it's actually manipulation disguised as healthy detachment. And healthy detachment is having your needs met, and therefore you are coming with being able to give more, not coming to it with needing it from the relationship. And this is where neediness shows up for women as well. So as you're saying though, the what was the term you used? The dysfunctional sides of things. Like if you have stuff in your nervous system that is, let's call it noise, or what's that other term? Static. If you've got the static in your nervous system, that when you come across it, it has this agitation that's coming up, or numbness, or something that's not having you sit within the fullness of who you are, you can't build healthy detachment across the top of that. It's like shifting sands then.
Yeah. So no level of like strategy is actually going to outwork a dysregulated nervous system. There are a lot of tools and insights and perspectives that we even share on this channel that can help you, because they get at the root of the nervous system. If you're thinking about it, and this was my whole purpose with the channel, if you're thinking about it this way, you're probably going to be better off because of the energetic state that you'll be in than if you were trying to overlay a strategy on top of dysregulation.
Yeah, strategy or tactic for that matter. And as you're saying, this is why we're going into deeper nuances and having distinctions that hit at the heart of these noises or static within the nervous system. Because once you have these distinctions, this is what transformation is. I'll give you a very simple term for transformation. Transformation is seeing something you haven't seen before and then never being able to not see it again. And from there, you actually have to reintegrate your whole sense of self around that distinction. That's transformation. So being able to get at the deeper nuances that facilitate the understanding, the internal positionality, that allows you to embody these principles and these skills that you've learnt, allows you to truly come forth. And one of the ways I like to put it is, again, using a driving analogy. When you first learn to drive, let's just say you're using accelerator and brake control. I don't think people use clutches anymore.
Not really.
Used to be able to use accelerator and clutch control and being able to go between them. But let's just use accelerator and brake. So you're learning how to use that in a way that has a smooth driving experience. That's all well and good until you get out onto traffic. And then you're having to monitor the road and everything around you while using the actual skill as well. And what ends up happening is you eventually learn to look beyond the things into looking at the space and perceiving the space you're in. So therefore, everyone else on the road goes from being traffic to you're a part of traffic. Traffic is the space you navigate. From there, you're able to now be in your being, and those skills end up becoming embodied. So if you think about how you drive now, which I'm assuming most of you do drive, you don't think about driving, you do it. And when someone talks about driving, you perceive it as if you were reliving it, and then work out, well, what do I do in that situation? In comparison to thinking about the different things and how would I implement those different things, you've got a whole different perception. So it's an embodied one, or what's known as grokking. To understand something so much so it becomes a part of who you are. So what we're looking for with everything we do is to be able to remove the static, that noise in your nervous system that prevents you from being able to drop into that space where you can perceive the space the dynamics play out on. And then from there, you can start to apply the skills that you've learnt and some new ones that allows you to fully come to life with who you naturally are.
This is what allows you to trust your gut. Trust your gut and bring all of the information that you've been picking up through the years.
And feel your feelings. That's a good one. We can do another video on that one if we haven't already.
We did. We did. Feel your feelings?
We've either done one or it's coming. One or the other.
Yeah, I think we did. I love that. That's all that I have on this one.
Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us on this conversation. And there's actually 3 ways to take this deeper, because we normally tell you to jump in and join the conversation in the comments. So I'm going to challenge you. There's 3 ways to take this deeper. Comment with an insight that actually shifted your perspective. That's 1. 2, share this video with someone else and have a conversation with them about it, especially the insight that you got and the one they got. And for those that are ready to recalibrate their nervous system and hold the space for the partnership they want, book a discovery call with us.
I love that. Oh, so fun. I love that you're giving a little more directive feedback on how to engage, because we do love that you're engaging, and there is a difference between just consuming content and actually applying it, putting it into action. This is what's going to activate that masculine energy piece.
Well, it's also going to integrate your feminine decision making, well, the visceral sides of things, because while we're consuming content, that's all cerebral. The way to actually get it into the visceral sides of things is to do something about it. And we love that everyone's coming and jumping on the comments and sharing stuff. I'm wanting to get that integration between the two by forcing you to have an insight, to have a conversation, and to want to go somewhere deeper for yourself.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, as always, I hope this was helpful. We'll see you guys on the next one next time. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.